Hey everyone, here are the video directions for the flash fiction story. Our learning outcomes and agenda. With this video, you will review the flash fiction assignment requirements, and you will, in the long term, demonstrate the ability to create a fiction story that includes narrative techniques in the creation of characters and events. So, what kind of story can you tell in 1,000 words or less? That is what makes this unique. Writing a flash fiction story is a challenge even for experienced fiction writers because the number of words that can be used is so limited. It's a little like building a tiny house. Tiny houses have all the same elements as a normal home, just in a compressed form. Flash fiction stories too should have all the elements of other stories but delivered with fewer words. And in flash fiction, many of the details are implied rather than described directly. So there's a lot of, you expect your audience to do a lot of inferencing. Because flash fiction stories are so short, deciding on what information to leave out of the story is just as important as deciding what to include. That's one of the big parts, and that's what we look for as we are grading your papers. One way to make sure you get the balance right is to plan the shape of your story before you start writing it. And that's why creating your story map is so important, and it's worth almost half of the paper. Your story map looks like this, and your requirements are minimum of 3 characters, which you would put these characters in here minimum. You can have more. What do they look like? What are their interests, actions, and what are their personality traits? Remember to be thinking of that figurative language that we've been studying this whole semester. The setting, you need to have a minimum of 2 settings, okay? Where and when, once again, give details in this. Conflict development, we're going to have a beginning, middle, and end. We know the plot diagram has, that rising action, then the conflict, and then the falling action. You're going to put that in here. We have the middle, which is the events that go in the middle. That would include the rising, falling, and conflict. And then your end is your resolution. Okay. So remember that as you're creating this, that's going to go in those 3 boxes. Then you're going to type your story below here. Okay. The whole assignment, your story map and your story come in together. All right. So next, let's take a look at the Cat in the Hat, which I wanted to use this story just to show a little bit of an example because there's only 236 words in that story and it covers all the elements. I wanted to take a look at characters. So there's all of these characters still in a 236 word story. Cat in the Hat, Sally, Sam, Mother, Thing 1, Thing 2, and the fish, right? Those are all characters very important in the story. We have a setting of Sally's and Sam's house. Now you can expand that in your settings to include the different rooms and such if you wanted to, if you were going to do a story like this, but make sure that you use specific details like how things look, how things smell, feel, touch. Then our conflict development in that story would be problem. The Cat in the Hat and Thing 1 and Thing 2 made a huge mess in and out of the house. Middle, Sally and Sam are having fun at first, and the fish is super stressed out, right? Then the solution is Cat in the Hat uses a machine to clean up before Mom gets home, right? So the conflict is in this too, when the fish starts to stress out and everyone realizes Mom's on her way home. We see her walking, right? So that's just pretty much how simple the story map can be. All right, what we're looking for in this rubric is that your dialogue and description in your story reveal essential details while moving the plot forward, that you explain how the main character changes and develops from the beginning to the end of the story using specific details from the story as examples developed, that you made an excellent choice about the details so that your story plot is fully developed but moves quickly toward the resolution, just like in Cat in the Hat. The ending is enough, keeps a little bit going so that your reader can interpret the story based on the clues provided. So that inferencing is allowed and implied. And then there are a few spelling errors, typos, missing words. And then Your story map is worth 15 points. That complete story map is completed. I feel like that's super important, as we said in the beginning. So everything's worth 20, and then the story map's worth 15. So at 35 points, 15 of that goes to the story map. So remember that. Do a good complete story map. Just fill out those boxes, okay? And follow the rubric that says how many settings, how many characters. All right, just a Dr. Seuss quote. We got to have one for this, right? You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. I thought that was a great one, especially for you 8th graders who are just about to finish this course. It's the last writing assignment of 8th grade. So remember, you're off to a whole new kind of fun season in your life. So enjoy yourself, okay? Today you learned that you have the ability to create a fiction story, including the narrative technique. So you learn the assignment requirements, and with those assignment requirements is really going to help build your ability to create fiction. Thanks a lot, guys. If you have any questions, you can contact me at my email, jennifer.hein@myschool.org, and you can give me a call or text me. Have a wonderful day.